much. I want to bring in now Alan Dershowitz, longtime civil liberties attorney who taught at Harvard University law for nearly 4 decades. Alan, thank you so very much for being in focus today. First of all, I'm curious to know, just from your personal perspective, are you keeping in touch with people still on that campus? And what are you hearing from inside the campus from the Jewish community in particular?
Well, first of all, I've been banned essentially from the Harvard campus for the last 12 years since I retired. People at Harvard don't want to hear my points of view on President Trump. They don't want to hear my points of view on Israel. They don't want to hear my points of view on Western values. So I am persona non grata at Harvard. The only time I've ever been invited back by a student group, my speech had to be taken off campus for fear of my physical safety. So, but yes, by telephone, I am in touch. But Harvard has become a bastion of left-wing, similar points of view. And not only do they tolerate anti-Semitism, they teach it. According to a Harvard report, they teach anti-Semitism in the divinity school, particularly how horrible that is in the name of Christianity. They teach anti-Semitism. They teach it in the School of Public Health. Recently, they named as their speaker at the graduation at the divinity school, the class marshal was a thug who had intimidated, threatened, and harassed an Israeli student, and the school said they would punish him for it, but they didn't. The law school gave a $65,000 scholarship to one of the other thugs who had harassed a Jewish student, and they gave him the $65,000 to work for an anti-Israel organization that promotes hatred against Jews. So Harvard is deeply, deeply complicit in anti-Semitism, anti-Americanism, and something has to be done about it.
So I want to talk about this latest and how legally it could help, because, you know, there's so much lawfare against him. The liberals are trying to slow him down. But what he's saying is, before anybody else can get a foreign visa in this country, he wants the time for his administration to pause those foreign visas while they vet these students thoroughly, social media, everything. What is your take on that legally?
Legally, it's perfectly permissible. The administration has the right to determine who comes into the country. Congress has some power. The branch that has the least amount of power over this issue is the judiciary, which is taking all the power now. We have the right to know who comes into this country. There is no First Amendment right to come into the country and preach anti-American, anti-Semitic. From the beginning of time, countries have deported, exiled, made decisions about who stays in the country and who doesn't. And what we're seeing going on college campuses today, look, these 2 kids who were killed in Washington, D.C. last week, 2 wonderful young people, I predicted that shooting in my book, The Preventive State. I absolutely predicted it. I said, based on my representation over the years of radicals, some of whom became murderers, when you start protesting in a violent way, breaking windows and harassing people and shoving people, the step toward planting a bomb or getting a gun is a short step.
I had on yesterday Leo Terrell, who heads the Justice Department's task force to combat anti-Semitism for the Trump administration. He was in focus with me with the message, bring it on. Watch.
Trump is going nowhere. We're going to have to match them in court, Harris. This is going to be a battle in the courtroom. If it goes all the way to the Supreme Court, Trump is going to do that. This is not academic freedom. This is anti-Semitism in its purest, most hatred form, and it's being tolerated not only on universities, but throughout the country.
So I said this yesterday, Alan, after those words from Leo. I said it's like these campuses are sanctuary cities and states. They have become their own sanctuary areas. And Leo said, yeah, you know what? The civil rights of 1964, 65, that legislation, that act says that they can stomp that out legally. There's not a problem there. But you've been and also taught on that campus for 4 decades rather. What does it really take to change schools like Harvard? Money?
Oh, it's going to take an enormous amount of effort. First of all, you have to get back to meritocracy, where people are selected for faculty and student positions based on their merits, broadly defined. Second, you have to eliminate all of these departments that teach intersectionality, DEI, gender studies, ethnic studies. These are all incubators for anti-Semitism. These schools, some of these departments, like the Divinity School and the Public Health School, are rotten to the core. They have to be essentially monitored to make sure that they're not teaching and preaching anti-Semitism. It's not only tolerating anti-Semitism, it's teaching it and rewarding it. And that's what's going on today on many college campuses. And you cannot today be a conservative, a pro-Israel person and expect to be given an audience under the marketplace of ideas at Harvard University and other universities. So it's really important to take some action. They should be targeted actions. They should target the departments that are teaching this stuff. They should be targeting students who, if they got a visa, would be hurting people in this country. They should be more targeted and less general, but it's a good beginning. And I think vetting every potential applicant coming into this country is legally permissible and desirable from a moral point of view.
Look, I wrote down what you said in quotes. Places like Harvard are incubators for anti-Semitism. They're just cooking it. I mean, it's disgusting. In the memory of Yaron and Sarah, who you spoke of, who died in Washington, D.C. at the Capitol Museum, it's only been a week. In their name, we've got to get this right, Alan. I appreciate you being with me today. Thank you.
Anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism has been rising again in some parts of Europe. Persona non grata. After the scandal, he became a persona non grata in political circles. Bastion. The university was once considered a bastion of free speech. Thug. The thugs attacked innocent bystanders during the riot. Hatred. Hatred can destroy not only communities but also individuals. Complicit. He was found complicit in the cover-up of the crime. Permissible. It is not permissible to bring weapons onto the campus. Stomp out. The government vowed to stomp out corruption. Meritocracy. A true meritocracy promotes people based on their abilities, not their connections. Incubator. That department has become an incubator for radical ideologies. Rotten to the core. The organization was found to be rotten to the core with corruption.
If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date with future videos. Thank you for watching.